Hello learners, welcome to Learn to Empower. In this particular video, we'll be looking into some of the news articles of today. The first and foremost article is Consecration of Lord Rama's idol in Ayodhya. Now, the important part of this article is not who is present and what are the personalities were invited to the particular event is not important from the UPSC perspective, but definitely some things are important, that is understanding the timeline of how the Rama temple or the Lord Ayodhya's Rama's temple was constructed. Now, the point to be remember is understanding the timeline. Now, first and foremost, we need to understand by the year 1958, we get the evidence based the presence of Barbary Masjid. Now, later, what happened over the period in the 1853 to 1949, it is during the Britishers. Now, the Britishers, because there was a lot of dispute already happening, that Hindus, certain sections of the Hindus were claiming that Lord Rama's idol is present inside the temple, right? But earlier to this point also, there were a lot of riots were going in the particular administration. So, in the year 1853 to 1914, the British administration has given that inner court to Muslims and the outer court to English, the outer court to Hindus. Now the inner court and the outer court were like this. Now the inner court was given to the Muslims to pray. The outer court was given to the Hindus to pray for the Lord Ram. Now by the year 1949, all of a sudden we found that there was Lord Rama's temple, or sorry, Lord Rama's idol was present inside the temple. Right. Now there were certain evidences that to say that it is not a placed idol, but somehow the idol came inside of the particular mosque. Now what happens by the year 1950, because of the presence of the idol, two suits were filed in the Faridabad civil court, right, to claim the Lord Rama's birthplace is of Ayodhya and the particular place should be allocated to the Hindu sections of the society. By the year 1961, we found that UP Sunni Waqf Board declares that the particular land belongs to the Waqf Board and the idol should be removed from the particular Babri Masjid. Right now, by the year 1986, there were many cases were filed. The cases were already continued. The district magistrate at that time, K.M. Panikar, has ordered that the gates that were closed for the Hindu should be open and the prayer should be allowed. Right. By this has created a wave of sentiments across the country that we can found in the year 1992 that the lot of car sevaks, lot of people started mobilizing from different parts of the India, and finally they reached the a particular site, that is the Babri Masjid, and finally it eventually led to the demolition of the Babri Masjid. And this incident actually followed by, that was the year 1992, then it was followed by certain sections of the society, especially the movement was led by L.K. Advani, the BJP leader at that time. Then later on, the year 2002 was the pinnacle point of this, the religious sentiment that is happening across the country. The 2002, there was a train because of the Godhra station, the Sabarmati Express that was present, that was set on fire by certain miscreants of the society. Right? Either it can be miscreants of the society or it can be natural fire, but we don't have any clear evidence of that. But it is believed that it has been done by certain miscreants of the society. By this is actually led to Gujarat riots. Now this is the Gujarat riots, the most important part of the Indian politics, which changed the face of the entire communal rights or the law and order situation in the country. Now by the year 2010, the Allahabad High Court has ordered that the ratio of 2:1, that two part belongs to the particular land, the Ayodhya temple or the Babri Masjid, it should be the two part belongs to Hindus and the one part belongs to the Sunni Waqf Board. Now this was stayed by this particular judgment was challenged in the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court stayed in the 2017. In the 2018, Supreme Court declared that the mosque is not the essential part of the religious practice of Islam. There are certain things that is called as essential practices, which is meant to be followed in a religious ceremony. But the mosque, as per the Supreme Court's interpretation, mosque is not the part of the not part of the essential religious practice of Islam. By the year 2019, we find that the Ayodhya land dispute that was finally settled once and all, that all the parts of the Ayodhya temple was given to the Hindu sections of the society. At the same time, the judgment was also ordered that the around 5 acres of the land should be allocated within the Ayodhya only for the mosque construction. Right? This was the overall timeline of this particular event. Now, the second article is that the prana pratishtha or consecration was done by PM. Before doing that spiritual act, that he has to do certain kind of fasting, and he used to perform certain, he used to visit certain temples to get the blessings, etc. So he visited certain temples all across India, but especially this is a particular news where he visited certain temples in Tamil Nadu. Some of the temple include Kodanda Ramaswamy temple, and he also visited one point in Danishkodi, that is Archanal Munai point. Now, some of the temples here it is mentioned. I want you people to look into who are the kings constructed it, what is the significance of the particular temple, etc. Now, the first temple, as I said before, that is the Kodanda Ramaswamy temple. The second is Sri Ranganatha Swami temple. Third, Sri Ramanatha Swami temple. And he also visited Rameshwaram, and on that place some mythological event that is there with related to the Ramayana, etc. Mythological stories are not important, but understand the significance. Yes, this has been followed by prime minister, right? So the places that he visited is important from the UPSC point of view, not just the location at the same time, but we should also look into what is the significance of the particular temple, how it is related to the Indian history, who are the kings constructed, etc. Right? I have given the Uganda's map here. First, let's look into what is the news that is related to Uganda. Right? The news here is that the prime minister or president, whatever it might be, of Uganda has the president of Uganda actually said on the event of NAM. The NAM is actually taking place now in Uganda. That is, his name is Museveni. Right? He said on the sides of NAM. He said that. If you remember the year 1970s, there was lot of atrocities done against the Indian community in the Uganda, where a powerful military dictator leader came into power. His name is Idi Amin. Right? If you don't know, just look at the documentary of certain covering this Idi Amin. Right? Now, because of his policies, he expelled a lot of Indians from the Uganda. Now, the present president said that whatever the act done by back then Idi Amin was not correct, because the Indian community was a vibrant community, that they were helping the Uganda's economy in terms of business, in terms of job opportunities, etc. Done. Now the news as such is fine. We can use it in different parts of essay and all, but from the prelims point of view, the location of Uganda is important. Now you see, let's look into the countries that it surrounds. Now Uganda is surrounded by Kenya, South Sudan, Democratic Republic of Congo, Tanzania, then Rwanda. Right? Uganda is also surrounded by Lake Victoria and Lake Albert. Right? Lake Victoria in the southern part, Lake Albert in the northern part. Not exactly the northern part, northwestern part. Right? Now this is important. The location of Uganda is important here. Now let's look into the next article, that is the Bilkis Banu's case related to in the last class we have seen, or the last video we have seen that. Now in this particular news article said that the 11 convicts who were ordered to surrender, they have actually surrendered now. Right? This is also the next article is also related to the yesterday's news continuation, that there was a committee formed to study one nation, one election, one nation, one election. Right? The committee was formed under the former president, that is Ramnath Govind. Now he has received a lot of inputs from the people, or the suggestions, where around 20,000 suggestions that he have received, 81% of the people actually voted in the favor of one nation, one election. Right? And we have also seen that the Congress president Mallikarjun Kharge also commented that this is undemocratic, or this is against the basic structure doctrine, etc. But we don't have to get into the details of it, because the Ramnath Govind's committee has not given the details of how the one nation, one election is going to be feasible. Right? Let's look how further developments in the particular news will take place. Right? The next important article that we come across is that there is an endanger of certain languages. The one particular language that is unique for this is the language of Madhika. This is spoken in the Kerala region, where only 2 speakers are left now. Right? Now understand, this Madhika language is a blend of Telugu, Tulu, Kannada and Malayalam. Right? Only 2 speakers have left, because the other speakers of the particular committee either moved on to the mainstream language of the particular state, or they don't want to speak this world language of Madhika. Now from the UPSC prelims point of view, you should know that how UNESCO, United Nations Organization for this particular, how it looks into the classification of language. Right? Now it classifies a language into vulnerable category, definitely endangered category, severely endangered, critically endangered and extinct category. Now Point to be remembered, based upon the number of speakers, they have classified it, right? Now, vulnerable according to the UNESCO, they say that the grandparent generations are able to speak, the parent generation are able to understand, but the children are not able to speak the same language. Definitely endangered is one or the other way, where the grandparents are able to understand and speak the language, but the parents are not able to understand and speak the language. Severely endangered, it's a kind of thing where children left out from the speaking of the particular language. So you can understand. Now in India also there are around 1900 plus languages, but official record we have only 121 languages, because Indian government records only the languages where more than 10,000 speakers, right? If the any language which is not spoken more than 10,000 people, we don't recognize that particular language. But in India we have around 19 plus 100, either we can say different languages or different dialects of language, because we don't have the literature or the script for those particular languages. Indian government is not bothered, or Indian government is not recording the number of languages, right? But the language is most important, because language is evolution of the cultural values, right? The next important article that we see, mosquito fish used to fight the mosquitoes has become an invasive species in India. Now this is a very beautiful article. This is a science and tech article that you should understand. Now this is an article which talks about the invasive alien species in India. Now we thought this, let's understand what is this mosquito species. Now in India we find two types of mosquito fish species, that is Gambusia affins and Gambusia halbruchi, right? Now is it native to India particularly? No, they are not native to India. They were bought from US and introduced into Indian ecosystem. Now, what is the purpose of introducing this in Indian ecosystem? The primary purpose of is that because the mosquito is spreading in a large number, these mosquito have a tendency to lay their eggs or larvae in the open ponds, open water surfaces, etc. Right? Now, to avoid or to kill those mosquitoes, etc., or the larvae, etc., these mosquito fish were introduced into the ecosystem or pond ecosystem, just to this particular fish starts eating those particular the larvae of, or the particular eggs of the mosquitoes, right? The intention was very good. Now what happened, because these mosquito fishes proliferate very rapidly, now they overtake the other population, fish population in the particular ecosystem, because of which what happened, there will be a heavy competition for the food in the ecosystem. Because of the competition, there will be survival of the fittest. Now because these particular species are large in number, the other species that present in the pond is not able to survive, so they are perishing over the period of time. This is the main news. But the point also need to understand, this is not the invasive alien species only in India, but also in case of Australia, but also in case of other countries as well, right? Primarily these species found in US. Now why it has become invasive, also the reason, instead of not only eating the mosquito larvae eggs, they also started eating the other species eggs as well, right? They started eating other fish mosquitoes, other fish eggs, and even they started eating the frog eggs as well, right? Because of which they have become the invasive species in the particular ecosystem, right? We can technically say that we need to do a lot of thorough research before we introduce any species or an animal into the particular ecosystem, because if you don't do this backfires in the overall in a long term period. Now we should also understand that this particular how Indian government can tackle this invasive alien species. The first to do is that National Center for Vector-Borne Disease, which comes under Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, has to delist this. Even the Indian government declared this an invasive alien species, but they are not delisting from the website, because this is one of the suggestion method to control the particular mosquitoes in the particular region, right? Which Indian government should actively take measures in this. This is a small article about the mosquito fish. Now, the second and important article is the growth of India-Bangladesh ties. Now, why it is in the news? Because the Sheikh Hasina, the Prime Minister of Bangladesh, won again in their general election. Now, because of which, how India and Bangladesh relations will be, I have given a gist format here. Let's try and understand how India's and Bangladesh relation was till now, and what will be the future of India and Bangladesh relations, and how Bangladesh is balancing this. Now, try and understand the foundation for India and Bangladesh is levied played in the 1971 Liberation War, where our India actually participated in the Liberation War of Bangladesh because of the Awami League. The Awami League is a political party in Bangladesh, right? We liberated Bangladesh from the atrocities of the Pakistan, right? But what happened over the period of time, there were a lot of anti-India sentiment started in Bangladesh, even though India helped Bangladesh for getting freedom from the Pakistan. But over the period of time, anti-India sentiment started primarily because of the water sharing, especially the Ganga that flows in the particular region. There was always a dispute happened in respect of Ganga water sharing. The second is a border dispute here and there, one or other border dispute where our BSF Jawans are getting killed by the Bangladesh people. At the same time, we are also cross-firing, etc. And third is the migrant issue that is always taking place. Now, recently, that is a Rohingya migrant issue that has been in the news. Now, India's relation with Bangladesh took a very good step by signing the treaty of Ganga water sharing treaty, right? We have signed this agreement with respect to Bangladesh. After that, our relation with the Bangladesh have progressed a lot. Now, because we can also see in terms of trade, now the trade was around 10.8 billion USD in the year 2020 and 21. The same trade the next year has increased to 18 billion US dollars from 21 to 22, right? And Bangladesh, because of this trade potential, India and Bangladesh started working on comprehensive economic partnership agreement, right? Now, even though this progresses very well, but Bangladesh need to balance between, because Bangladesh is also looking for signing a free trade agreement with India. At the same time, Bangladesh is also interested to join RCEP with China, Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership, where India did not join, even though after a long period of negotiation, India did not join RCEP, but Bangladesh is interested in joining RCEP with China. Even China is also want Bangladesh to be joined in the particular region, right? But India is not interested with respect to China, so Bangladesh need to balance this particular thing, right? And after this, Bangladesh and India signed an agreement with respect to Ahura and Agartala rail link, which connects the two important ports, that is Chattogram port and Mongla port in Bangladesh. Right. Now, one more important port that is getting constructed in Bangladesh, that is the Matribai port, which is just 100 kilometers from Tripura, which will be very much helpful for India in connecting the northeastern part of India, where India's Act East policy also becomes a very much reality or very much convenient with respect to if the Bangladesh construct this Matribai port, right? And what is the major issues that India should work upon? The major issue, that is the Teesta water sharing. Teesta is the one more river that flows into Bangladesh, where India need to have a coordinated plan with respect to Teesta river. Second is the Rohingya issue, because you can understand Rohingyas are the primary people from Myanmar. They migrated to Bangladesh. In Bangladesh, in the areas of Cox's Bazar, there is a place called Cox's Bazar, where there is a huge settlement of Rohingyas, of a temporary refugee, where Bangladesh is given, right? Bangladesh is also a least developed country, right? But still they had, satisfying, or they have taken a lot of migrants from Myanmar, right? The Rohingya issue is also very important, because India said that it will deport the illegal migrants of Rohingya back to Bangladesh, right? And the third issue is the Bangladesh-US issue, that not related to us, but the USA has levied certain kind of sanctions against the Bangladesh, right? That is also a main factor for understanding India and US relationship, right? This is one of the important article that I found today. By this, we are coming to end of the particular video, right? In the next video, we'll be looking into some of the important articles in the next coming days. Till then, take care. Thank you.